right after we watched Buffalo 66, which is a really funny movie in its own right, we watched the Three Amigos from 1986, I think, or 1985, which is a classic, cult classic. You know, people know about it, right? Like, it's kind of a thing you watch as a kid. I will say that I think Buffalo 66 was funnier than Three Amigos, you know?
It was, yeah. It's funny, too, because we watched that, and I was like, well, I could have sworn Buffalo 66 was older than Three Amigos. It just feels like kind of in the 80s kind of vibe, like a time period. It doesn't feel Hollywood, whereas Three Amigos felt like a lot more Hollywood.
Oh, yeah, dude, the way, yeah. Like, we're getting two different ends of the spectrum. Where it comes to, like, Three Amigos, the whole approach of it is, like, we're going to do this Mel Brooks style SNL long movie that's a skit about these three silent movie stars. It takes place in 1916 in Mexico / California, but the story takes place in Mexico, even though it's shot in California, obviously, about these three film stars, these Western heroes in the early days of cinema, where everything is images, it's all silent films. They basically get called upon by this village girl because she sees their movies in real life, and she's like, oh, like, and they see them taking down a gang, these bandits, and she gets inspired to reach out to them to offer them money to come to Mexico to actually fight a real gang of bandits.
Yeah.
And the three film stars are Steve Martin, Martin Short, and then we got Chevy Chase, the man himself, in the flesh, dude.
The asshole Chevy Chase, yeah.
And they go to Mexico, and they think they're just going to go there to do a show. They're actually expected to, like, fight, and they find themselves in kind of this dangerous situation. And for, like, half the movie, they think that they're just still doing a show for people, and then they realize, like, oh shit, no, this is real. It was pretty clever. It was fun. It has some good jokes in there. You know, it doesn't necessarily hold up.
No. They're idiots, too, which, like, I like when they're playing idiots. But they're also, like, the Three Amigos, but they know nothing, like, really nothing about, like, Mexican culture.
Yeah.
Or how to really, like, be brave. And that's what they kind of learn throughout the movie, is to live the roles themselves. The one thing that stood out to me, though, was I love how sweet they are to each other. Like, they never are, like, ill-willed towards one another. They're always, like, really sweet and, like, caring for each other. Yeah. And it really does feel like they have, like, this camaraderie between them that's, like, very wholesome.
Yeah, it's definitely a feel-good PG level picture. It's not it's not anything like it's not gonna upset you or anything like that. It's just like a kind of middle of the road comedy, but it is a classic. It is considered a classic.
Yeah, I can see it. Like, there are some funny parts in it. Definitely. Yeah. Those three are, like, just their reactions to things and their physical comedies. Like, yeah, they're professional. They're really funny. They make me laugh sometimes with just, like, their facial expressions.
Yeah, they were good. Chevy Chase is like, kind of just playing himself.
Yeah, like he does in every movie. Yeah. And, Steve Martin kind of, like, plays that, too.
Steve Martin and Martin Short are, like, all their, like, well, like, the way they're dressed and stuff, it's, like, really, like, they're very, they're, like, kind of lame.
Yeah, they're lame, yeah.
Like, they're lame as fuck. I think, like, yeah, Steve Martin and Martin Short have more of a flamboyant way, and I think Chevy Chase was probably like, dude, I don't want to fucking, like, do that. I was reading, so, John Landis directed it, and this is, like, right after the Twilight Zone tragedy, so he's, like, dealing with that while making this movie.
Yeah.
And apparently, like, he wasn't getting along with Chevy Chase, which is, like, not a surprise. At this point in time, he's, like, a huge star. He's, like, killed it on SNL. He's doing, like, Fletch. He's doing the family vacation movies. He's, like, the man at this point in time. And I was reading about, there was a time where Chevy Chase didn't want to say a line because he was like, dude, this is going to make me look like a fucking moron. Like, John Landis, like, threatened to give the line to Martin Short, and he's like, fine, I'll do it. Like, there's a scene where they're on a cliff in the movie. I don't know if you remember that. Chevy Chase was, like, getting upset about the safety precautions of that, and he made a comment about how something to do with the Twilight Zone tragedy as, like, a joke or something, and they, like, almost, like, got into, like, a fist fight because of that.
Damn.
John Landis and them. But from what I've heard, like, John Landis is also kind of an asshole, dude.
Really?
And his son is a fucking asshole. Like,
Max Landis?
If you read about him, dude, he's done some fucked up shit. Like, he was, like, hit in the Me Too
Really?
Yeah. But we can talk about that another time. But yeah, that's just like a little bit of a background with the production and just some interesting things
Yeah.
that happen because I can totally see that because Chevy Chase is like, no, I don't want to do anything that's gonna make me look bad. Like I'm on the top of my game right now. Like I'm a 6'4" dude. Like I'm not, I don't want to be like a fucking moron. And I kind of see it in this because Steve Martin and Martin Short kind of like seem to take more of a role in this picture than Chevy Chase. Even
They're a duo. It felt like they're a duo and
yeah,
Chevy Chase is added on.
yeah. But the thing is, like when they promoted the movie, like the top billed star, they marketed it with Chevy Chase. You know, even though it is really Steve Martin's like the main character of the film, but like at the time, Chevy Chase was like so big, they like marketed him as like the lead, even though he didn't really like do a lot in the movie, and the role, I don't even know if the role really fit him, dude.
No, I felt like he was not fleshed out at all.
No,
Like
he wasn't,
he
dude.
didn't do anything. Like every other character, you kind of get like a sense of who they are. Chevy Chase just felt like Chevy Chase in this like absurd comedy, just playing himself. Like he was never fleshed out. Doesn't like I don't know. He just didn't add anything to this role. I feel like he could have put any other comedian in the role, minus the stardom he had at the time, and it would have been the same person.
Yeah. There's some funny parts to it, though. It's kind of a basic. It's kind of basic the way it's shot and put together and stuff, and like the way they handle the action is like not really that good because you can tell it's like a skit director who's directing it. It's not. Like, they don't have any like crazy stunts or anything, and also like a movie like this could never be made today because it's like appropriating like hella Mexican culture and the way they depict like the Mexicans and the women and stuff, and like they're, like these three white guys who are dressed as like banderos like coming in and like being we're the Three Amigos, and then it just like would never be made, and it doesn't necessarily like hold up. Also, there's the scene like what we talked about with the airplane. Where they landed in the town, and you just see the airplane, like there's like a shot of like the airplane coming in and like them yelling, and then you see like the girls and the villagers looking out the window, and it's like you expect there to be like a crash or something, but then it just like it cuts to them like already landed like fine in the town, and I was like, okay, this is definitely like a little hokey and Monty Python-y type shit going on too.
But even then, like Monty Python has like some cutting edge like satirical.
Yeah.
Whereas
Monty Python is a funnier, definitely more cutting edge than the Three Amigos. Three Amigos is kind of basic.
Yeah.
But it is a classic. Like everyone knows about it. Everyone talks about it. It's not necessarily like holds up, but I'm going to show other comedy films from that era. Other than there's better Steve Martin pictures from like the 70s and stuff. And like this is not like the jerk Steve Martin. This is like the happy-go-lucky Steve Martin of the 80s, glaze of happiness and Hollywood studio intervention,
Yeah. But he wrote it with Lorne Michael and someone else.
Yeah.
So I thought that was like pretty interesting. It is like kind of Steve Martin's like he has a hand in the creation of this and these characters, and you just kind of want to make like a fun movie for people to watch, And like I get it. I can see like if you're like a young boy and like the 80s and like maybe you're like 10 to like 15, this movie would like be really funny to you, really slap.
Yeah. When you're a kid, it'd be dope. Yeah, I just wanted to watch it because I had never seen it before, and like there's always like gaps in my knowledge where people like I haven't seen Blazing Saddles all the way through, and I really want to.
Blazing Saddles is amazing. Like Mel Brooks is better than this.
Yeah. Like I remember we were watching Blazing Saddles at your place with Xander, and Xander's like, I don't want to watch this anymore, and he like turned it off even though like I was enjoying it.
I can pick it up again,
Yeah, we should definitely watch it, even though I know it's like whatever. I mean, there's no comedy nowadays, so because everything is offensive,
Yeah, but like even then, like watching Three Amigos, there are things that are really offensive in it. Yeah. And it wasn't that funny though. Like even then, I'm like, this wouldn't add anything. If Three Amigos came out today and they're like, whoa, cutting edge offensive comedies are back, and then like I watched Three Amigos, I would be like, that wasn't that good.
No, it was a little hokey.
Yeah.
And stuff, but I just wanted to see it because I hadn't it's one of those classics I haven't seen, and I'm trying to watch all the classics and all the movies that I can that people talk about in the zeitgeist,
Well, all of them?
No, not all of them, but I can watch all the classics. I know I can do that.
Okay. Three Amigos. Check it out if you want to.
Yeah. Nothing to like scream home about. Like if you're with the family, I guess, and you're having a hard time choosing something, or it's a rainy day, or you're just looking for something chill on the back end of a double feature, then yeah, give it a try.
Yeah. That's all I have to say about Three Amigos.
Yeah, yeah. There's been better Chevy Chase movies. There's been better Martin Short shit. There's been better Steve Martin shit. But yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever.